several times before the PAC, and I actually spoke to him twice. And at all times, I was most cordial and respectful, although I could not agree with his request to make an opening statement or to discuss the work of the committee because of the limitations and restrictions in the standing orders. On July the 15th, when he arrived at this Parliament building, he was invited into the dining room for coffee with myself and Mr. Sanders, the member for Bordentown West and a member of the PSC committee. He immediately turned the conversation into an adversarial one, making accusations and threats that he would take on the PAC in other media forums if he did not treat him right. We both tried to calm him down and assure him the PAC was not adversarial in its approach at these hearings. Honorable Dr. Linford Pearson, during the opportunity to give evidence of the PAC, then decided to attack the Auditor General and her staff about how the performance audit was conducted. He claimed that the audit staff had not interviewed him in his capacity as chairman of Off-Reg Board. The audit staff claimed that he had been interviewed during the preparation of the report, and evidence was committed. Then after there was a disagreement between the witness, Honorable Dr. Linford Pearson, and the audit staff as to whether he had been interviewed or not, the committee asked the Auditor General to produce documentary evidence that they had met with Honorable Dr. Linford Pearson as chairman of Off-Reg. The Auditor General did the research, produced evidence, including copies of interview notes, and confirmed that they had indeed met with Dr. Pearson on Wednesday, November the 13th, 2019, at 10 a.m. And a meeting that was supposed to have finished in an hour went on until 12:30. The audit office also produced evidence that the whole audit team, including the Auditor General herself, met with the whole board of Off-Reg, including Honorable Dr. Linford Pearson, on December the 12th, 2019. Faced with that evidence, the committee then decided to redact the inaccurate statement by Dr. Pearson, not his complete testimony, as he has reported. The committee made this decision, not the Auditor General, as Dr. Pearson has enumerated in many correspondence, that we should not have allowed the Auditor General to be investigator, jury, and judge as to whether they had met him. The committee made the decision that the evidence produced by the Auditor General authenticated and confirmed that the audit office had met with Dr. Pearson as chairman of Off-Reg on 2 occasions. That was also confirmed by another board member at a witness hearing after that. However, Mr. Chairman, on advice from the clerk about the redaction, and in the authority that you referred to on Monday, it was obvious that that is being done in places like New Zealand when these things are found, they are redacted. The committee, in an admin meeting, later decided that the preferred course of action was to leave it all in the report and let the public decide on the evidence. So, Mr. Speaker, in the end, no transcripts were redacted. Nothing was struck from the record. What Dr. Pearson said on the 15th of July that was inaccurate is there for all to see, and you can hear it if you go to the government YouTube. What was done was I asked the audit office to fact check what was claimed by the chairman, and what we have put in the report are facts, not opinions, not accusations, not allegations. This off-reg performance audit was signed off by off-reg itself on the auditor, that is the Auditor General's report on the performance and executive and effectiveness. The off-reg board, the executive director, all confirmed that the facts as presented in the report were factual. They may disagree with the recommendations which either the auditor office or the Public Accounts Committee drew from the facts presented with it. But the facts of the report were agreed and accepted. The report makes no allegations against Honorable Dr. Pearson. And Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Dr. Pearson complained to you about my not responding to his email. And he and yourself would be fully aware that under the standing orders rules, no member of the committee, nor myself, is allowed to discuss within a matter in the public those matters that are not public in hearings. Secondly, the standing orders that covers select committee specifically prohibit the committee in the standing committee of this House to delegate its authority to the chairman. And as to his claim that I did not treat him with the respect he thinks he deserves, is contradicted by the Hansard attached to this report. And you will see that I bent over backward to allow him and show him respect. Respect he did not reciprocate during the hearings. Instead, he questioned my qualifications to be chairman of the committee. Mr. Speaker, I could go on much longer and continue to refute the accusations of the Honorable Dr. Pearson, but I think it is sufficient to let the report speak for itself. Mr. Speaker, I am confident the Public Accounts Committee functions well within the rules, procedures, and practices demanded and expected of such an important committee of this Parliament. The PAC of this Parliament and the way it functions are the envy of most of the countries in the Commonwealth. All the committee members take their duties and responsibility seriously and work hard and diligently to perform their tasks fairly. I wish to publicly thank the members of the committee for their hard work and to encourage them all to continue to perform above and beyond the call of duty. I also wish to thank the staff of this Parliament for their support and hard work, especially our new committee clerk, Ms. Patricia Priestley. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, in regards to the report of which has now been laid, I had to bring attention to what was reported to me, which I will address just so that members understand clearly what the presiding officer was dealing with. I hold no brief for the chairman of Off-Rig. I have worked with Mr. Pearson as a member of this House for years. I have never known him to tell a lie. I found him to be a very meticulous person, careful of his responsibility, to the extent that we would say he was too proud. I hold no brief of Off-Rig. No doubt the PAC has their right to make their reports on their findings. As presiding officer, my concern is that any witness whose testimony is being challenged and whose reputation could be besmirched, smeared by being called a liar, as the chairman went on again to do. If that witness feels that their character has been impugned, they have a right to be heard and for their testimony to be included in the verbatim record in full. That is my concern as presiding officer of this honorable House. That is a right given not only of the precedents and conventions of parliaments throughout our Commonwealth, but also under the rule of law. Public opinion swings to and fro. Justice cannot be decided by public opinion, radio shows, or social media. My advice as presiding officer, and it would be so of any person being the presiding officer, is that a witness must be given an opportunity to hear or read allegations against them and be able to respond to that. Witnesses' evidence must be recorded where it is not secret, in full, in the verbatim reports or minutes. The member from Northside has used his privilege in this House as a member to give a version of a matter that I cannot speak to, and I will not. My concern is that witnesses must be given an opportunity to hear allegations against them. I do disagree that the report hasn't called him a liar. So, I mean, the member from Northside has constantly repeated that. Where does that come from? It is repeated in the verbatim minutes, if you go back to it, in the report. It certainly says that the witness was not telling the truth. Not telling the truth is a liar. My ruling stands in regards to the treatment, public and otherwise, of witnesses in committees. If witnesses complain to me as presiding officer, then I have to respond, particularly if it is not fully addressed in the report. I doubt that you will hear the last of that matter, unfortunately. And I want to agree with the member from Northside. Our Public Accounts Committee has come a long way from where we found it back in 1984. The member from Northside is the chairman, and the member from Northside read the report. Well, as I would imagine that as part of the committee, the chairman does have input into our report, but I don't sit in Public Accounts Committee, and therefore I can make no judgments on it, and I will not. I value the work as the presiding officer of the Public Accounts Committee. As I said, the Public Accounts Committee is and has come a long, long way since we found it in 1984 and even up until 1992.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, Down West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really didn't want to say anything on this subject.
Honorable Member, I suggest to you to leave this matter as it stands. Unless there is some point of order that I need to address, but if the member has a point of order on the matter, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee has made his report and spoke to it and spoke to the fact that the presiding officer had made remarks in regards to witnesses. And that's what I'm addressing. I don't believe that we should go further with this matter at this time.
Mr. Speaker, I'm raising a point of order.
On the point of order is?
Concerning the statement that you had made, Mr. Speaker, I just need something clarified with that.
Unfortunately, Honorable Member, the report,
elucidation is there.
The report has been laid. Your chairman has outlined what he says is your all report. Unless you take issue with that, then I see no sense in further going forward with it. I certainly don't think there's any matter more to go into this, and will not gain the House much more than what the chairman has read out already and what's contained in the report that the public can now read for themselves.
You know, Mr. Speaker, I will yield to your ruling, and you're right. I think the public has already realized what has happened here, so I will leave it at that.
Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, Lands, Annual Report 2016 to 2017, Growth and Inspiration. Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands Annual Report, January to December 2018. Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands Annual Report, January to December 2019, to be laid on the table by the Honorable Minister of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands.
The Honorable the Minister of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to lay on the table of this honorable House the reports for the Minister of Education, Youth, Sport, Agriculture and Lands, being the annual report for the years 2016, 17, 18 and 19.
So ordered. Is the Minister speaking there too?
Yes, thank
The
you.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Education.
Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands is the largest of the CIG ministry with approximately 1,100 staff working in various subject areas, including but not limited to education, youth, sports, agriculture, lands, libraries, water authority, and scholarships. The work to manage this large and diverse group requires rigorous problem solving, dedication, commitment, and collaboration. Mr. Speaker, I will provide a comprehensive review of its performance, achievements, and activities during the period from 1st July 2016 to 31st December 2019, as is reflected in further detail in the annual reports and annexed financial statements that I just presented. Firstly, education, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will begin with education, which is by far the largest subject area in my ministry. In keeping with our mandate of making the lives of those we serve better, the Education Ministry has been visible on all three islands as various strategic policies have been unveiled, and it is expected that those strategies will begin to show dividends in the coming years for the Cayman Islands students. Mr. Speaker, the ministry placed great emphasis on strengthening its relationship with its local and regional stakeholders, especially during 2019. Some of those accomplishments will be highlighted as follows. Adult learning institutions. The Ministry of Education provides support to adult educational institutions to increase local students' ability to access higher education. The University College of the Cayman Islands, or known as UCCI, a statutory body under the ministry, implemented a new client relationship management, CRM, data tracking and student survey system. This system, Mr. Speaker, will be utilized to compile relevant student data that will ultimately improve student retention, career outcomes, and academic performances. Further, the University of the West Indies, UWI, appealed to contributing countries to reduce their outstanding debts. The ministry paid our contributions of $2,348,976 to the said university. This was done in recognition of the difficult financial state of affairs of UWI and under understanding that discussions with the UWI Open Campus on funding, which had been on hold for a number of years, would be resuming. In April 2019, the Accreditation Commission on Colleges of Medicine, ACCM, which serves as the authorized accrediting body for medical education in the Cayman Islands, carried out a comprehensive on-site inspection of St. Matthew's University School of Medicine and concluded, Mr. Speaker, that St. Matthew's University is indeed acting in compliance with all 14 of the ACCM standards of accreditation. The ACCM approved a 6-year period of unconditional accreditation for St. Matthew's until June 2025. Private Schools Association. The ministry, Mr. Speaker, through its purchase agreements with the Private School Association, was able to provide support for the association's 12 members to assist with their operational cost. It was also able to increase its support for private schools in accordance with the Education Law 2016 and Education Regulations 2017 and national policies. This increased support, Mr. Speaker, included a dedicated private school licensed with the Ministry of Education to assist schools in ensuring that they meet the necessary registration requirements and align their policies with national policies. Data is also collected from the various private schools to assist the Ministry of Education in decision-making policies and guidelines that affect all schools in our country. Mr. Speaker, as a part of its mandate of ensuring safe schools for students, a minister's team presented to the Private Schools Association on child protection, specifically the national policies, to ensure all schools had such policies in place. Registration of educational institutions. During the period, Mr. Speaker, the ministry also supported Inspire Cayman training, a new TVET provider, through the registration process with the Education Council, bringing the opportunity for Caymanians to be trained in a number of trade disciplines, as well as to gain paddy diving certifications. The Nursery Pilot Program. Mr. Speaker, in September 2019, the Department of Education Services introduced a pilot nursery program for 3-year-olds at the Creek and Spot Bay infant schools. The program, which is geared towards providing academic and emotional learning, will better prepare students to transition into compulsory education. General feedback has indicated, Mr. Speaker, that parents were satisfied with the program's offerings. A formal evaluation is underway, which results will be available imminently. Department of Education Services. The Department of Education Services, DES, is the operational arm of the Cayman Islands Ministry of Education. It provides the resources and support to government schools to implement the various policies and procedures that have been set out by the ministry. It is led by the Director of Education Services, a Caymanian, and consists of the following sections and units: data and testing, registration, community services, school improvement, facilities, and business services. DES also, Mr. Speaker, facilitates transcript requests and responses to various other inquiries. During this period, the DES achieved success in the following areas: school inclusion services, deployment of counselors, special education need coordinators, or SINCO, apprenticeship, and school assessment updates. Primary schools. Mr. Speaker, there are government primary schools located throughout the 3 Cayman Islands with a total number of 2,651 students and a staff of 212 highly qualified civil servants. 8 schools, namely Theoline L. McCoy Primary, Easton Primary, Edna M. Mole Primary, Georgetown Primary, Prospect and Red Bay Primary, Savannah Primary, Sir John A. Cumber Primary. Of course, those are located on Grand Cayman, and the 3 additional schools at Creek and Spot Bay Primary, Weston Primary, and Little Cayman Educational Services located on the BRAC and Little Cayman, respectively. Primary school student enrollment. Staff complement. The Sir John A. Cumber Primary School has 527 students with 37 teachers. Georgetown Primary School, 280 students, 20 teachers. Red Bay Primary, 434 students, 31 teachers. Prospect Primary, 351 students, 23 teachers. Savannah Primary, 427 students, 30 teachers. Dearline L. McCoy Primary School, 279 students, 8 teachers. Edna M. Moore Primary School, 95 students, 15 teachers. Easton Primary, 87 students, 13 teachers. Creek and Spot Bay, 96 students, 13 teachers. Weston Primary, 71 students, 11 teachers. Little Cayman Educational Services, 4 students, 1 teacher, being a total of 2,651 students and 212 teachers. The curriculum, Mr. Speaker, I requested and DES implemented a new national primary school curriculum in August 2019. Some of the curriculum's content has been duly adapted from the national curriculum for English primary schools. As a part of this new curriculum, each primary school now affords a new Cayman-based social studies curriculum, robotics, coding, design technology, and Spanish during Key Stage 2, as well as new assessment resources to support early years foundation stages, or EYFS, and foundation subjects. Mr. Speaker, a Key Stage 2 primary school parent guide was also developed to support the implementation of the new curriculum. Teacher training to support the moderation of the new curriculum also began in 2019 and is scheduled to continue over the next 2 years. Several teachers across KS1 and KS2 have already completed modernization training. New principal appointments. Caymanian principals have been appointed respectively at the Edna M. Moyle Primary and the Clifton Hunter High School in August of 2019, and another at the Theline L. McCoy Primary School in August 2018. A Caymanian acting principal was also seconded to the John A. Cumber Primary School in August 2018. Senior High School Improvement Officers, or SSIO. Senior Improvement Officers provide support and guidance, Mr. Speaker, to school leaders in order to ensure that school achieves positive outcomes. The DS appointed 3 new SSIOs in 2019. 2 of these are Caymanians and the other non-Caymanian. The third SSIO is assigned to the Western communities, and the 2 Caymanian SSO are assigned to special education needs and disabilities and Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, respectively. Mr. Speaker, the SSIO who is appointed to the Western communities comes with a wealth of experience, having previously held leadership positions in very high-performing schools in the United Kingdom. Lighthouse School. Mr. Speaker, the Lighthouse School currently has 110 registered students and staff comprised of 15 dedicated teachers. At the start of 2018-19 academic year, DES launched a Year 12 pilot program at the institution. During the said period, 7 students sat Stage 1 English and Mathematics in the internationally recognized City and Guilds examinations. Further to this commendable undertaking, 2 students from the Lighthouse School from the cohort that passed the City and Guilds examination, and we were very pleased with those 2 students, Mr. Speaker. Both students are now currently enrolled at the Hospitality Studies Certificate Program at UCCI. During the 2019-2020 academic year, a group of 6 students passed City and Guilds examination, Stage 1, English and Math. 5 of those students are currently enrolled at SciFec. Secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, there are 4 secondary schools located within our Cayman Islands. 3 schools, namely the John Gray High School, Clifton Hunter High School, Cayman Islands Further Education Center, and the Lehman E. Scott High School, being situated on Cayman Brac, are all performing quite well. 2019 saw the launch of the Everest program in the government secondary schools after a successful 2018 pilot program. Everest is a versatile resource, Mr. Speaker, that has provided teachers with a simple web-based interface through which they can enter data relating to the students' behavior and attendance. It further allows the retrieval of data in a readily accessible format and facilitates homework, learning resources, and curriculum sections, features that will now allow our educators to digitize the learning process and provide distance learning. Everest is also synchronized to the School Information Management System, or SIMS. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the introduction of Everest, a change in graduation dates from June to August, presented the schools with an opportunity to recognize more students for the additional and higher level passes, since this additional time allowed for the receipt of the external examination results. 158 students, or 46%, of the graduating cohort received higher level diplomas in 2019. The John Gray High School 60 students received higher level diplomas for passing 7 or more subjects in their external examinations. 25 of those students achieved 9 or more passes. The Clifton Hunter High School Caymanian educator Dr. Richard Wildman was appointed as a new principal in 2019, and in August 2019, 10 students graduated with a higher level passes in 9 or more subjects. 2 of those students, Mr. Speaker, were ranked 7th regionally for their performance in integrated science. One of those 2 students ranked 9th regionally for their performance in human and social biology. The institution was subject for a full inspection in November 2019, just a few months after his appointment. The inspections, Mr. Speaker, highlighted some positives from the new leadership at the school. Positives included improved arrangements to monitor the quality of teaching in the school due to the senior staff's increased involvement in lesson observations, as well as the extended role of subject leaders in the evaluation of teachers within their said departments. The Lehman Scott High School, 16 students graduated with higher level certificates, having received passes in 7 or more subject areas. This has to be commended, Mr. Speaker, seeing that it's such a small school and it's difficult at times to get teachers to stay for long periods of time. And the school continues to grow from strength to strength each year. SciFec, students who did not attain passes in math and English, Mr. Speaker, received the opportunity to resit these and other subjects while also gaining work experience opportunities and vocational training. The institution, that is SciFec, currently offers instruction in 12 vocational areas, including ICT, beauty therapy, health and social care, business and work skills, and students receive Business and Technology Education Council, or BTEC, qualifications upon successful course completion of all courses except for its motor vehicle course, which provides students with the Institute of Motor Industry, or the IMI, certification. Early Childhood Care and Education Unit. Mr. Speaker, the Early Childhood Care and Education Unit, or ECCE, provides services to enhance the quality of and access to early childhood care and education in private and public settings to early childhood care and in private and public settings. In 2016-17, Mr. Speaker, the team was heavily focused on the implementation of the new curriculum and assessment for early years and provision of financial assistance through the Early Childhood Education Program for young Caymanian children who will be between the ages of 3 and 4 years old before 1st September, who was the age of 3 and 4 before September 2017. Mr. Speaker, in 2018 ECAP program continued alongside the implementation of the reception programs in our government schools. One early childhood care and education officer was assigned to all of the reception programs in our government schools in order to provide targeted and uniform support to all reception staff. Child protection training for owners and management and practitioners. The Early Childhood Care and Education Unit, in collaboration with the program manager for at-risk youth and other stakeholders, completed training of 250 early childhood practitioners and owners, managers of early childhood care and education centers as a part of the Second Step program for child protection. Mr. Speaker, in 2019, there was an adjustment to the means testing criteria for the ECAP consistent with the 5% cost of living increase received by civil servants. Before this 5% adjustment, the highest monthly household income that could qualify for funding was $4,760. Further to the adjustment, the highest monthly household income increased to $4,998, thus making funding available to a more significant number of Caymanians. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, throughout this reporting period, ECCI unit provided several professional development sessions for early childhood practitioners. These sessions focus on addressing various areas of need with the ultimate aim of improving quality of early childhood care and education centers. Significant among these, Mr. Speaker, was the Hanen Teacher Talk Training Program, which was facilitated by Kids Ability Cayman, funded by the Ministry of Education, and delivered to 80 early childhood practitioners. The program proved to be an ideal training tool due to its strong research base and relevance to the Cayman Islands society. It also promises to enhance, Mr. Speaker, the quality of early childhood education by providing early childhood practitioners with training in language development, interactions with young children, facilitating and fostering language and interaction. Moving on to the Scholarship Secretariat Unit, as is detailed further in our report. The staff of the unit has now grown to 5 full-time employees who are usually called upon to simultaneously process approvals for new local scholarships and new overseas scholarships, as well as submissions and disbursements of funds for returning students already on overseas scholarship. To simplify and manage the scholarship application, Mr. Speaker, a new dedicated email was set up for students to file submissions. The email address is scholarshipsubmissions@gov.ky. The Secretariat also established a partnership with Cayman National Bank and Butterfield Bank to allow for direct deposits and bulk deposits, respectively, of students' disbursements. This reduced the number of office visits by students receiving funds and improved the efficiency of the Secretariat. A student survey following feedback that indicated concerns about the online application process. Results in the survey indicated that most respondents found the platform somewhat easy to extremely easy to navigate, 89.6%, and experienced no challenges, 63.6%. While the survey results were positive, the results and feedback were used to further enhance services through the provision of a new checklist and declaration form for the students. This again reduced delays and provided greater efficiencies for our Secretariat team. As a result of the student feedback, the survey completed in 2017, several amendments to the online application process were also completed. The actual printed application now, Mr. Speaker, is reduced to 1 page. The Secretariat continued to provide support to potential scholarship recipients and awardees through various town hall meetings held both Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. Participation in school career fairs, along with meeting and individual senior classes to discuss the scholarship application and career choices also occurred. Mr. Speaker, during 2019, the Secretariat acquired additional administrative support through the university interns and a temporary support administrator, which allows for the scholarship database to be brought up to date with overseas scholarship awardees for the 2015-2019 academic years. The Secretariat also acquired access to the online resource known as ShareFile, which allows for confidential documents to be shared for application review in a secure platform in adherence to the Data Protection Law 2019. Mr. Speaker, this platform is used with interview panel members and education council members. Deadline for processing of disbursement was also established and resulted in timely and indeed efficient processing of check payment requests for scholarship awardees. A heavy-duty photocopier scanner machine was purchased in order to exclusively be used by the scholarship unit, which allowed for security of the documentation processes as well. Networking event. The Secretariat hosted a celebratory event on 1st of August with our overseas scholarship conditional awardees. The event created an opportunity for the Education Council and the ministry to congratulate those applicants who had been successful in reaching the conditional approval stage of the scholarship process. It also provided, Mr. Speaker, an opportunity to thank the many dedicated professionals who assisted with the interview panel over the years. The event also provided a further opportunity for students to network with other prospective university students. During the evening, several speakers shared very useful information with the attendees. Past scholarship awardees shared their experience of going off to university, while the Secretariat highlighted the continued support available for both students and parents by this coalition government. There are plans for this event to be an annual one with the intention that it will evolve to provide additional opportunities for networking and mentoring of students. Scholarship promotions. The Secretariat continued to promote the valuable opportunity of local and overseas scholarships in Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac, with Little Cayman obviously not having a high school, through various school meetings, presentations, and career fairs. The Scholarship Secretariat will continue to provide support to students in their career aspirations and the application process during 2020 scholarship year by utilizing the career fairs and small group sessions. College tours. In July 2019, Dr. Nicole Thompson, a senior staff member of the Secretariat, Mr. Speaker, participated in the Ontario Colleges and Southern Universities tour. Dr. Thompson met with representatives of several of the universities, allowing for networking and discussion on some of the challenges our students may face while attending those particular institutions. A visit to the Ontario Tech and Durham College, two TVET linked colleges, were also undertaken, which allowed, Mr. Speaker, a first-hand view of a viable option for those students interested in TVET and vocational studies. Public libraries. The Cayman Islands Public Libraries, LIB, provides a critical community resource for personal enrichment, enjoyment, and education needs, an important component of the National Workforce Development and Training Agenda. Strategic and financial oversight is provided by the ministry. The Friends of the Library is a nonprofit organization which is ably chaired by Mr. Mike Pilin, also supports the finances that are needed for the library ventures and various projects. The Cayman Islands Library Services provides materials and services for community residents of all ages for personal enrichment, enjoyment, and further education needs. The library, indeed, Mr. Speaker, has a special mission to young children and their parents to encourage a love of reading and learning from a very early age. The Sunrise Adult Training Center. Mr. Speaker, over the past 33 years, the Sunrise Adult Training Center, or SRC, has provided vocational training, therapeutic programs to adults with disabilities throughout the Cayman Islands. SRC holds the distinction of being the only government-funded agency in the Cayman Islands to provide interventions that enable empowerment, employment, and independence of its adult clients. Cabinet approved an outline business case at OBC for a new 25,000 to 30,000 square foot Sunrise Adult Training Facility. There were several meetings with the technical subcommittee throughout the year. Specialist architect consultations arranged through the local consultants, or RLB, and the ministry intends to go to open tender for various construction consultative design services during 2021. Youth Services Unit. The Youth Services Unit, Mr. Speaker, is an equally important entity that was established under the mandate from the National Youth Policy of 2000. Its role is to act as a collaborating body among the various youth services providers to ensure that there are vibrant and relevant programs in place for youth in the Cayman Islands. It was established under the ministry to implement the objectives called for in the said youth policy for the provision of youth services. The unit, Mr. Speaker, advises on youth policy competitions, and activities. In addition, the unit partners with existing and prospective youth agencies providers to formulate programs that facilitate the empowerment of our young people, set standards, and monitors the programs of youth service providers receiving government grants, assist with the training of youth workers in our community, assist youth in assessing services offered by our government and private entities, and offers programs that empowers our youth where the need exists, keeps abreast of all issues that impact youth empowerment. The unit continues to monitor youth services providers and report to the ministry, and offers life skills sessions, leadership development, and training for youth groups in order to facilitate and mandate the vibrant programs in all of our districts. Initiatives, Mr. Speaker, such as the Youth Flex radio show, provide a public platform for our young people to use their voice, and the Cayman Islands Youth Assembly helps the youth formulate solutions to youth-related issues. Moving on now, Mr. Speaker, to the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps. The Cayman Islands Cadet Corps, CICC, is funded by Cabinet for two main items. First, Cadet Training Program, CAD4, and the Cadet Corps Vocational Qualifications Program, CAD6. It delivers these outputs at the unit level, coordinated centrally by our headquarters. The mode of delivery is through the United Kingdom Army Proficiency Certificate for our cadets. The Cayman Islands Cadet Corps was able to provide an internationally recognized Star 4 Cadet Corps program for ages 11 to 19, which covered all areas of cadetting, and particular core areas such as drill, map and compass, fieldcraft, and adventure training. All cadets, Mr. Speaker, were able to gain marine experience as marine activities were executed through the year, with an additional 5 cadets developing specialized marine skills since the acquisition of the marine vessel. The CICC participated in all national parades, held local parades of their own, including passing out, enrollment, and awards closing parades. The Cadet Corps provided community service for over 18 activities, which included cleanups, volunteer service to other government departments and organizations, and the simulation exercises for a National Emergency Operating Center. Cadets were able to attend local and regional camps, which gave them the opportunity to apply the skills they learned. The Cayman Islands Cadet Corps was also able to provide a vocational and technical training program, BTEC Level 1 and 2, diplomas in teamwork and personal development to cadets who were at least 16 years of age and Star 2 qualified. As a part of the regular training, Mr. Speaker, participants learned about professional CV preparation, interviewing techniques, communication, first aid, adventure training, health, nutrition, and physical fitness. The band detached was reintroduced and will be further developed. Sports. Department of Sports focuses on the majority of financial resources of the 6 focus sports: athletics, basketball, cricket, football, netball, and swimming, and provides technical assistance and expertise in 6 disciplines through community programs, after-school programs, school sessions, national programs, and sports camps. The department also maintains over 20 sports and recreational facilities, ensuring that they are kept in a state of readiness and safety for public utilization, and provides guidance on sports policy matters, monitors the development of sports in the Cayman Islands. Other public engagement included, Mr. Speaker, over 40 after-school community sport development programs, provision of coaching support for 8 national programs, over 2,300 school sessions facilitated, and development of 6 sports workshops. Most notably, Mr. Speaker, in 2019 was the Cayman Islands hosting of Carifta Games in April, for the 3rd time having hosted prior in 1995 and in 2010. The premier junior athletics event, which was held at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex, with the Cayman Islands government being its main sponsor, saw the participation of 500 athletes and delegates from across the Caribbean, competing in 66 events. In preparation for the event, CIG invested in a new track and a new warm-up area near the netball courts, improved the lighting, additional equipment, storage, and a large widescreen for the Truman Bodden Sports Center. I beg your pardon. A team of 52 athletes able to represent the Cayman Islands in several events. The Department of Sports continue to focus on support services and sports and to continue to inspire our athletes to aim higher and reach further, which are part of the core component of the ministry's strategy for the overall growth and development of our youth. Sister Island Sports. Sister Island Sports delivers programs, Mr. Speaker, to provide sports coaching and instructing primarily in the 6 focus sports. They are conducted to improve the health, well-being, and technical skills and fitness for young people and adults in the Sister Islands. The unit also provides sports education, training, technical advice, support services, and various stakeholders, including schools, sports clubs, and communities. The highlights that were led under the able leadership of Mr. Mitchum were courses and clinic, national level sports competitions, Cayman Islands Cricket Association Super League, community sports development programs. Other notable achievements were the national team's trials and recruiting, development and community events, sports tourism and international events, Little Cayman Sports, national team representatives, camps, and the various sport days. Agriculture. I told you, Mr. Speaker, I had the biggest ministry. Like all government departments and entities, the Department of Agriculture fulfills its mandate through the delivery of outputs that are outlined in budget statements and funded through the annual plan and estimates. Outputs vary and can change over time depending on government's overall strategic objectives. Government, Mr. Speaker, through the minister and ministry, sets policies and the department delivers projects, programs, and services to support these policies. In 2017, the department, through inspired performance and a dedicated team, posted another year of industrial growth punctuated by service improvements to its customers. The Department of Agriculture was able to continue implementation of the various programs that had been part of the 2016 Caribbean Week of Agriculture, CWA, which was a significant achievement for the Cayman Islands as it became the first United Kingdom overseas territory to ever host the CWA with the theme Investing in Food and Agriculture. The event attracted over 300 delegates, including ministers of agriculture from the region and representatives from key international and regional institutions. A delegation from the Pacific Islands was also in attendance. Mr. Speaker, the event was well attended and emphasized government's continued support, interest in the promotion of agriculture and national food security. 2018, the Department of Agriculture had fewer outputs in number from the last year, reduced to 3 from 9. And this was because of a compilation of the various outputs to achieve efficiency. Since 2016, Mr. Speaker, the Department of Agriculture has worked with regional and national plant protection organizations to develop updated import conditions to mitigate the risk of pest introduction and shipments of fresh cut Christmas trees. As a result of the ongoing training, only one consignment of 465 trees out of a total of 2,307 imported Christmas trees had to be treated. This work continued in 2019, where the Department of Agricultural Health Inspection Services staff completed pest risk assessment, or PRAS, on 6 quarries, which included quarries in 4 different countries. A PRA was also completed and a permit granted for the importation of specialized aggregate material from Canada for the airport runway resurfacing and expansion project. Lands and Survey Department. The Lands and Survey Department, Mr. Speaker, was also one of the agencies referred to in the ministry, transferred to the ministry after the 2017 general elections. The department has settled well and has continued several initiatives to improve service delivery through increased technological use. As a result of increased activity in our economy, despite COVID, the local real estate markets continue to increase, and the improvement is underway to ensure that the department continues to act as a facilitator for growth by inspiring investor confidence through the protection of records relating to property rights. Consistent with goals stipulated by the Deputy Governor to elevate the service standards using technology to deliver faster and more efficient services, and also in agreement with the Honorable Minister responsible for Commerce, the Lands and Survey and Department pursued several initiatives aimed at embracing the concept of e-government. Key initiatives, Mr. Speaker, include the e-conveyancing project, which seeks to provide a modern system for land registration, where each stage of the process can be completed electronically rather than being paper-based, and this was embraced through 2018 and continues to bear dividends. Significant work, Mr. Speaker, was also carried out to convert all paper records received since the inception of Lands and Survey in 1972. This work, Mr. Speaker, included one enhancement to the Lands and Survey Department to accommodate the digital registration of powers of attorney and letters of administration, including the automatic numbering and scanning of documents. 2, development of the LR Indexer application through NGIS to capture the metadata for all textual records to be converted, which will allow the application to index and upload images without the need to further data entry. To date, approximately 80% of those records since 1972 have now been readied for scanning. The development of a request for a proposal, which was issued to the public in September 2017. The expected execution of contract is to be done on a phased approach, with 500,000 images records being converted by the successful bidder in 2018. Deployment of additional forms in conjunction with computer services and made available to the online forms system. Improving stakeholder relationships by the introduction of online form system and offering training sessions for the use of the various forms. Reviewing and developing the escrow system for payments and processing of the volumetric parcels currently in testing environment. The department has entered into an agreement with the UK Hydrographic Office to achieve international charting requirements for the International Convention for Safety of Life at Sea, otherwise referred to as SOLAS. The Lands and Survey Department will provide marine data to the UK for access by all shipping interests entering the Cayman waters, which is a crucial safety measure. This is a part of a broader initiative under the Cayman Coast Guard Service, which was established. Aerial drones are also being used now, Mr. Speaker, regularly to produce high quality resolution, up-to-date imagery for inspection and use by various government and private sector land parcel features. The Lands and Survey Department has introduced an online license renewal process to accommodate over 200 persons who subscribe to receive online mapping and data services annually. It is hoped, Mr. Speaker, that this new online process will result in a higher speed and greater efficiency. The Land Registry continued to phase conversion of the land registry documents into the scanning processes form for 2019 as well. Under phase 2 of the contract, Mr. Speaker, an additional 256,796 images were scanned and delivered. By the end of the year, 26 blocks were digitally converted. Land purchases. The Lands and Survey Department is tasked with the acquisition of land for the following purposes. 1, beach access as directed by Cabinet. 2, preservation of habitat as directed by the Department of Environment and subject to Cabinet's approval. Provision of public space, that is parks and cemetery extensions. Strategic land acquisition being 4, as directed by the chief officers and subject to Cabinet approval. During this year, terms were settled on 9 land acquisitions that included 5 oceanfront parcels, Mr. Speaker. Road compensation cases. In addition to those negotiations, the Land and Service Department has provided land acquisition cost estimates on 6 additional proposed road schemes with a total anticipated acquisition cost of $10.7 million. Communication. The Ministry of Communications and Public Relations function include events, campaigns, press releases, press briefings, speeches, and the management of social media communications. Each of these assists, Mr. Speaker, in promoting the work of the ministry and providing important information to both the public of the Cayman Islands and international stakeholders in the Cayman Islands government remit. Press releases are consistently written for all of our units, promoting their work, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter posts to promote regular events and information occurring in the ministry and or its departments. Information, Communication, and Technology ICT Unit. Mr. Speaker, this ICT unit is tasked with the management and oversight of all of our ICT activities across the ministry. More specifically, it is indeed responsible for the provision of procurement services, systems integration, ICT policy, and support for its end users. During 2017, the ICT unit was responsible for the network infrastructure to set up the John Gray High School and support services for the first Cayman Islands NCAA basketball tournament. The NCAA tournament took place in November 2017 and provided an estimated $2.4 million in direct economic impact and $6 million in media exposure for the Cayman Islands. It provided excellent entertainment for the public and contributes to government outcomes to improve sports tourism. Mr. Speaker, website upgrades and the utilization of social media that is integrated with a teacher portal and parent portal, SIMS, Learning Gateway, were launched for all primary schools in 2017. Through these efforts, the unit is supporting greater communication between the teachers, the learners, and the parents. The government seeks, Mr. Speaker, to deliver faster, more efficient, secure services to the public via its e-government initiative. The ICT unit is supporting this program through key improvements in cybersecurity and participation in the National Institute of Standards of Technology, or the NIST project. Mr. Speaker, support is also being provided to enhance the provision of reports on students' progress and achievements for parents and other key stakeholders in our community. 2016 to 17, the unit rolled out the National Reporting Online Desktops and Student Passport System for easier generation of reports and improve the use of data in the schools. The most significant, Mr. Speaker, additions to the fixed assets in 2018 was the ICT integration across the curriculum, improved cybersecurity, purchase of the laptops, and minor capital projects across the schools. Throughout the years, Mr. Speaker, the ICT unit provided detailed data reports that documents and explain our student performance across the schools to support the National Reporting Online Dashboard and the Student Passport System. The use of these systems enable reports to be generated much easier, thus resulting in an improved use of the data emanating from our various schools.